you all for being here. This is our last presenter for this afternoon. Josie, what we've done is we'll have your panel introduce themselves to you so you know who they are and where they come from as you're speaking. And then at the end, after you present, we'll open it back up for feedback and questions from the panel.
Perfect.
Do you want to start?
Yeah, I can start. Hi, I'm Shamarika Nakamura. I work for Spokane Public Schools as a restorative practice and beloved community manager. My role is just to help create spaces for students to feel like they belong. Students and staff and families.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Scott Finney. I am a senior professor at Eastern Washington University and also director of the Africana Studies program. And I'm currently a trustee at Gonzaga University as well.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi Josie, I'm Ken Bowie, Tammy's son.
Yeah.
I work at the League of Education Voters Foundation. So my full title, I'm the Spokane Region Field Director and the Washington State Field Manager with the League of Education Voters Foundation. So,
Oh,
there you go.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. Nice meeting you. Thank you.
I'm Rebecca Levine. I'm an HR specialist, much shorter title, at Spokane Public Schools.
Nice meeting you.
And I'm Jackie Branch. I'm also with Spokane Public Schools and HR specialist.
Thank you for being here. I am Josie Cresci, and I would like to welcome you to my grad defense. After 12 years of education, I found a passion for psychology and learning about the human brain. But the journey quickly began with me finding out that I can't take care of myself without learning how to I can't take care of others without learning how to take care of myself. Middle school was the first time I ever thought about taking care of my mental health, as well as my collaboration, communication skills, and overall my ability to take risks. The first day I started middle school, I did not have an elective because I was in a math and reading help class. The first time I was in this math help class, I was asked to share why we were there. I didn't know. So I said that my brain didn't understand math, and from the get-go, this set me aside from all the other students, making me feel dumb. The whole time I was in the Meade School District, I struggled with being bullied for my academic smarts, as well as my weight. This genuinely changed the way I view people in the world around me. I had such bad crippling anxiety around school that it affected my attendance immensely, to a point where I knew something needed to change. I talked to my therapist, who I love, and she asked me if I've ever heard of the community school. I hadn't, but I was really excited about it, so she was the person that signed me up for an info night. After going my 8th grade year, I knew that TCS was going to be a great fit. I was just extremely nervous because I'd be leaving everything I ever knew, my school and my friends. But, as Lao Tzu says, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Coming to TCS was the best step I've ever taken, but I kept a promise to myself that I was going to spend all 4 years working on myself to become the best version of myself, somebody who's kind, loyal, empathetic, and overall a good person. Coming from a different school district where I felt like my education wasn't necessarily valued, I was left at a funky standing point when I came to TCS. I had bad habits like leaving the room whenever something gave me anxiety, and I noticed this a lot when it came to math. Once I was diagnosed with dyscalculia in my 8th grade year, I realized I had a lot to work on. Dyscalculia is a learning disability that is defined as a difficulty performing mathematical equations and makes it hard to understand and do math. Ever since elementary school, math has given me tons of anxiety and makes me super emotional. And my whole elementary and middle school experience, unfortunately, I would copy off my friends and use photomath or just use Google to fill in the answers. I felt like I didn't have the same background knowledge with math that everybody else did when I came to TCS, and I actually didn't start working on my ability to be around math until I came to TCS. This was really important because I noticed my first ever time I was in a TCS class called orientation. I was simply asked to bring up Khan Academy on my computer, and I lost it. I left the room, and I noticed this pattern anytime I was presented with math. It was a habit I wasn't proud of. I wasn't getting anywhere, wasn't learning anything. And although it gives me anxiety to face math head on, it makes it so much worse when I'm trying to fake my understanding of something. However, I needed to start with basic coping skills, then academic strategies. Understanding how to breathe and just attempt the math made advisory and projects so much less stressful. Through all 4 years, I've also used math assignments and math-related projects as a way to better my math skills. I'm not a mathematician or anything, but I try my hardest, and I don't copy off of people, use PhotoMath, or Google. Specifically in projects like biomolecules, planet versus plastics, and sealing the deal, we spent in-depth time focusing on math concepts. Normally, I would really struggle staying motivated and actually wanting to participate, but doing notes and asking questions, surprisingly, is what helped me keep afloat. And also having an advisor there to help me was really nice. And for example, Tammy, she was always in the back of the room. So sometimes the way our rooms are formatted is we'll have a teacher in the front and sometimes a teacher in the back. And I sat normally towards the back of the room. And I have a really hard time asking questions or asking for help. And so when a teacher would be teaching the whole classroom, I wouldn't feel necessarily the ability to raise my hand. I just struggle with raising my hand. And she would normally be in the back and she would ask me if I needed help. And she would spend the one-on-one time to help me understand what I needed to do and how to at least attempt the math. The thing I take away the most is my new ability to ask for help when I'm struggling. It's not easy, but I've gotten so far, and I've honestly learned a lot about how to help myself when it comes to those situations. I have these pictures up here because I wanted to point out the different years of my math abilities, I guess, or my math pages. The green one is from 7th grade. I don't know if you can tell. Nothing there is actually my work. It is all, well, okay, you can't use PhotoMath for fractions, apparently. You have to search that up on Google. So all of that's based off of Google. The second one is my freshman year. You can see there's some math attempted, but I had a really bad habit, classic, of waiting until the teacher filled it out on the board and then copying down what they said. So there's no explanation of learning there, in my opinion. And then this is my senior year. In sealing the deal, we had to do math equations and learn just different stuff when it came to construction. And there's notes that I made. There's help from a teacher. And I actually tried to fill out each equation, which I think is a huge jump, because me 4 years ago would have never done that. And I think it's just really helped me grow. I may not be perfect at math. I may not be my most strong suit, but I've gotten really far with it, and I've learned a lot, and I hope that in my future it's not something I struggle as much with. And now, as much as I promised to work on myself, I also gave myself the time to academically pursue the things I love. One of the things I found a passion for is psychology. We don't always get the everyday chance to delve deeper into our passions while at school. However, my sophomore year, I was able to do this through the Science of Happiness project. In this project, we got the chance to work on Cornell notes for each day, specifically for things like cortisol, which is a stress chemical you experience. And what I took away from this was that I really enjoyed reading articles, watching videos, and learning just about the human brain in general. And I think that kind of helped me gather a better understanding of what psychology may look like in my future at a school aspect. And so that was really important because having the ability to work on my hobbies as well as work on skills and tools for school really gave me personal relevance in my everyday, and I don't think I'd be in the same spot in my high school and beyond plan if I didn't get the chance to work on my hobbies and my passions during school. Psychology isn't also always easy to integrate into your everyday at school, so I'm really glad I had this project because I got to really focus on myself and something I love. And then the only thing I would work on in the future and what I want to work on when I go to college is my note-taking. Obviously, it's kind of really chaotic and there's a lot to work on, but I really enjoy taking notes, and I think that's a huge thing because not a lot of people like that. So, I don't know, something I'm proud of. And then, although I get to do things I like to do, also I have to do things I don't want. And at first when we started this project, Law and Order, pretty basic. We were doing famous court cases, understanding history, learning about our amendments. However, we had a big ask at the end, and it was to present a fake legal case to a group of Gonzaga law students. I was really intimidated by this. Honestly, none of my group members showed up, so what was a group effort for others was a solo journey for me. And being able to present, let alone present a court case by myself in a a full group of people made me really nervous, and it was not something I was really excited for. But I came prepared, and I tried my best, and I tried to start off strong. However, I did get lost in my argument, and by the end of my session, I was asked if I wanted to rebuttal. If I'm going to be honest, I politely declined, and I walked right out of the courtroom. I felt like I needed to catch my breath. I wasn't proud of myself, and I felt like I did awful. Until Lexi, a law student, came out of the courtroom to check on me. She said that if I wanted to be a lawyer, that's something I could do. Obviously, that's not what I want to do. Don't find a passion in that, never again. But she said that I had a really strong argument, and for once in my life, I started to believe in myself. I can do hard things, and I can do it well. Lexi also informed me that I had a strong case that could possibly win. And she wasn't wrong. When I walked back into the courtroom, I won my case. Turns out I can do anything I put my mind to if I just try my hardest. I felt like this moment forward, it rewired my brain into being more confident in myself and not letting my anxiety take over. I didn't think I'd win, let alone winning anything like that by myself. I'm proud to say I now know I can do hard things when I don't want to or feel highly intimidated by them. And I think that's really some growth that needed to happen, especially my senior year. Ever since Law and Order, I've been trying to be more willing to do the things I don't like. Okay? But when building houses and sheds and like having to wear a hard hat and glasses got brought up, I was not there for it. I was not the most excited. I don't do like power tools, construction stuff, and I don't like math. So the first 2 weeks of this project was really stressful. And then not only that, we had to do a skills test. And obviously because of my dyscalculia, I was really worried about being able to read a tape measure. I spent all week looking on videos, like, how do I read a tape measure? Like, how do I do it? And I was just really worried about it. But the first time I tried it, and we just had to do a basic test. You go up, you get a number, and you just mark it on a board. And I did it first try. And although it was really simple, I think that was the growth that needed to happen because I was actually excited for the project. Like, okay, maybe I can do the things I don't want to, and maybe it's actually not that hard. And that was good, and it started to get really good until, unfortunately, I had to leave because I had to go to a funeral for my great-grandpa. As much as it sucked, if I'm going to be most honest, I was really worried about missing school. Like, really worried about missing school. Not only was I missing school, I was missing a week of important group projects. We were volunteering for Habitat for Humanity, so I also had to go on a work shift, like on the work site. And one of the issues was I had to leave for California the day I was supposed to be on the work site. So I couldn't go. But I rescheduled to go on a day by myself so that my group was in good standing and didn't have to change their schedule. And I gave them a week's heads up before to help with the stress. But by the time I came back, the project was almost finished. And by the time the project finished, I got really good feedback that I would say I'm proud of. One of the feedback saying, Josie was a pillar in our group. She had to leave for a short period of time to deal with a family matter, but stayed informed and contact with us. She made up for it in class, and she was somebody I knew I could go to if I felt lost or confused at any point. Followed up with another peer feedback that said, Josie was super helpful at measuring and building the sheds. She helped build the frame for the doorway and was great at grabbing materials we needed and being on top of it. All of the effort she made for the group was needed, and she deserves a good grade. This project taught me that it's okay to be uncomfortable while doing things I don't want to. And that being out of your comfort zone isn't bad because you learn a lot from it. But the one thing I would have changed is how stressed I was about being gone, about the whole project. I spend a lot of time not being present, and I don't like that. I don't enjoy that about myself. And so after this project, I realized, oh my goodness, it went so well. Got good grades, my group was in great standing, and it turns out there was nothing to be stressed about. I should have just been focused with my family and not worried about it. But obviously that's something I have to work on in the future, and I thought it was a really good growing point. Now, as much as I spend time getting out of my comfort zone, I find so much peace in learning about who I am. I have learned a lot of stuff emotionally from the wellness classes I've taken. Starting off strong with yoga. I honestly started it my freshman year because my therapist recommended it. So I took it, and I've taken it ever since. The reason I bring it up is because I love it so much and I find so much mental peace. But also because there's things like intention setting, which is a mindful exercise that I've brought into my everyday life, whether I write it down or say it out loud. One of the things I have a notebook now for it, and the one I like to use the most is just make today a good day. Obviously, I struggle with being present, so sometimes one negative thing can make the whole day feel awful. And so this has really helped me stay present. It's not me in the future, and it's not me in the past. It's me right now, and this is what I'm doing. And I think this has been really important for my mental health because I've learned a lot about myself. And being present in the moment has also taught me a lot about other people, and I enjoy it a lot more. I'm trying not to rush through everything all the time. And just like yoga, I started taking psychology-based wellnesses, and one of the ones I really took from was relationship resilience. It was taught by a lady from YWCA, and she focused on psychology and what it meant to be in a healthy relationship. This class was great for learning about how to listen to others and be vulnerable myself. I'm not somebody who would have just been vulnerable with anybody, but classes like this have helped me grow, and being able to talk about personal experiences has helped me find support and connections within TCS, while also learning psychology tactics like how to set a boundary or deal with unhealthy behaviors. It makes me feel more confident in myself and my ability to talk to others and have relationships with others, whether it's at school, at work, or just in my general personal life. However, some things come to an end when new things arise, and unfortunately, I stopped taking most of my psychology classes because I got a job with Express, which is through Spokane Public Schools, my junior year. I am an activity leader as well as a substitute, so my job is to help with games, snack, art projects, and the overall shenanigans of a daycare program. And the whole time I've been here, I've absolutely loved it. However, it can be really stressful working in a room of 45 kids with all sorts of needs and personalities. However, I've learned a lot about childhood development and how to accommodate each children's needs. Granted, having this job has also taught me the importance of work ethic and being able to show up to work 15 minutes early, helping with prep, and even extra meetings I'm not required to go to. The adults and kids have taught me so much, and luckily for me, I was asked to do a promotional video for my job, and I personally think it shows how much love I put into my job every day. Oh my goodness. I will get it pulled up. One moment.
It's always important to come with a smile and be in a good mood. So being a positive role model for the kids is such an important thing, and kids feed off of your energy, so.
So that's just a little clip of what my everyday kind of looks like at work, and I absolutely adore it. It's my most favorite thing. And I just find peace in being with little kids all the time because they're so sweet and innocent, and I learn a lot from them. There's a lot to learn from little kids, honestly. But also I love how much my job has opened new opportunities for me. One of those being volunteering at Willard Elementary School for Miss Campanella. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect when volunteering for a bunch of kindergarteners, but it's been so healing. I've absolutely loved being from the teacher perspective, and it's made it so much more exciting than being in an after-school program. I love my job, but ever since I was little, I've always wanted to be a teacher. Obviously, I don't now, but when I was little, I wanted to. So this kind of feeds a little bit of that for me. And not only that, we get to learn really cool psychology tactics with the kids, or at least Miss Campanella's taught them a lot of emotional regulation. And one of the things I've really taken away is she has a calm down corner in her room, and she's got different things, whether it's fidgets or one thing I've really thought was cool was there's this mirror, and it has pictures attached to it, and each picture has a kid feeling an emotion. And then the kid puts the picture next to the mirror and looks at themselves, what emotion am I feeling? How can I fix this? What do I need to make me feel better? And I think that's been insanely cool that she's teaching all of these little kids these emotional regulation tactics that, honestly, not some adults don't even know, right? And so it's just been really cool, and it's opened my love for psychology all over again. So you may be wondering, what am I going to do with this passion for psychology? And I'm proud to tell you, I got admitted to Whitworth with a $32,900 scholarship per year. My plan is to stay home because I live 5 minutes down the road, and my commute will make it really simple to be on campus as much as possible. While attending Whitworth, I will be working an on-campus job through federal work study. My hope is to be working in the library or the mailroom. While working there, I will be making minimum wage and working 10 hours a week while getting $4,200 off my tuition each year. I still have a little bit more left to pay of my tuition this year, but this summer I'm going to focus on mini scholarships while working on call with Express. However, when summer comes to an end, I'm unfortunately going to have to put in my 2 weeks for Express before I go to Whitworth. Of course, while I'm there, I'm going to be studying psychology, and my goal for after is to have my bachelor's in psychology so I can practice clinical psychology with children and teens. Growing up hasn't been easy, but I'm ready to flourish into the version of myself I promised to be when I came to TCS. Kind, loyal, empathetic, and a good person. Thank you.
Nice job, Josie. We're going to open up for comments and questions from your panel.
Great job.
Thank you.
Go Bucks. That's my alma mater.
Nice.
So congratulations
Thank
on that.
you.
Throughout your presentation, I really appreciated how much you reflected, and you also did a lot of affirmations throughout the time. So like one I wrote was like, can't take care of others unless I take care of myself. One of my personal ones that I say is like, I don't have to light myself on fire to keep other people warm, right? Too, because it's important to take care of you first, right? And it's okay. Give yourself permission to take care of you. So that's something I encourage you to do in your next chapter. I'm curious, because when I went to college, I was not interested by any means working with kids. None. I was like the last person someone would call to babysit. And I'm like, you call everyone on the list, right? And I had a principal who, because I ended up working with kids, I was like, oh, I love this. And I had a principal who was like, hey, would you work in schools? And I was like, no, absolutely not. And I had to process, like, why did I have that response? And so something I heard is that you like being in the classroom and you see how psychology can tie into education, but you said, obviously I don't want to teach,
Yeah.
right? So I'm curious why you had that reaction.
Honestly, this is kind of funny. I just don't want to be stuck in a school setting forever. I love my job now, and I feel like it's very close to a teacher perspective, and I don't see myself being there forever. I love children, and I love working with them, but a different aspect. I feel like when there's a lot of children, I can't one-on-one, like, get to know them, and that's what I feel like I need in order to help them the best. I don't know. Obviously, I try to help all of the kids, but it's hard to really get that one-on-one time with them to really focus on what's going on, and that's something I find the most passion in. But if I didn't, I feel like teaching would be like a runner-up for sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Josie, that was outstanding.
Thank
Your
you.
presentation, your ability to connect, and to take us on your journey. Very, very rich. That quote about 1,000 miles to start off was very appropriate for you. You've taken an enormous amount of steps. And in my time on this planet, I realize, I'm sure you do, how far you can keep going forward is based on support. And typically, anyone that looks back on their life, they'll point to 3 types of support. One as an ally, one also as a cheerleader, and another as a mentor. The ally can show empathy because they have co-experiences that relate to you. And then the cheerleader is someone who will defend you and take care of your back when you're not around, and encourage you in that way. And then the mentor will guide you and give you guidance. Of those 3 types of support, which one has meant the most to you to get you where you've gotten this far?
I feel like guidance, being able to be guided into the right direction. I don't know, it's hard because when you're young, you don't really know what to do, but when there's people there, it definitely helps. So I don't know. I don't know. I feel like definitely the first one or the second one for sure.
Beautiful. Well, something has definitely carried you along, and you've developed something of yourself to stand on your own 2 feet. Really, those 2 feet are standing on some shoulders. And I'm thankful that you had that support.
Me too.
Because now you're a gift and a blessing.
Thank you.
Yeah, incredible job, Josie. I just want to share, you should be really proud of yourself, and also know that you're not alone. You talking about that math intervention class, I remember in elementary school being marched from my classroom through the entire building to go to reading intervention, and then I got a history degree. So all I knew was and I remember that shame that you were talking about. I also remember my grandfather always said that he was math dyslexic. Wow, math dyslexic.
Yeah.
So I just want you to know that you're not alone in this, and you're just so impressive. Really,
Thank you.
Really impressive. You're funny. listen to. I wrote down a quote that you said, I can do hard things and I can do it well. That one has really stuck with me. I have an 18-month-old, and we are listening to Doggyland a lot. If you haven't heard, this is Snoop Dogg has a playlist for kids. It's wonderful. It's incredible. And a lot of self-affirmations, and he's got a song called I Can Do Hard Things, and it's just beautiful.
Wow.
And so hearing you speak, I heard that. I also, I don't know if I have a question, but I wanted to call out that in the last 4 years, you went from literally running out of classrooms to being able to sit in really uncomfortable situations. And that alone, you deserve a graduation cap for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was also thinking, like, you should be in the classroom. But your response to that, I'm just so impressed by how reflective you are. Because you have a reason to not be in the classroom right now. And not that you couldn't in the future. But yeah, I don't think I have a question for you. Great job.
Thank you.
Thanks for letting me listen to you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Yeah, to echo, fantastic job. You really took us on a journey there, and just like Kenji, the struggling with math is something that really resonates with me. I always joke I didn't go into finance because I don't like math. That's why I went to HR. There's not a lot there. And the number of times I've had tears over, counting beans on the counter, just trying to figure it out. It's incredible. But that leads into my feedback of, I think one thing that you should really take into your Whitworth experience is leaning into the examples of the huge successes you've had. Because you're really taking yourself on a journey of not only being vulnerable to some of the things you might be experiencing deficits in, but kind of figuring out how to acknowledge those strengths that you got throughout, including the law case feedback, winning that case so well. Like you said, that was a team effort that you did by yourself. That's incredibly impressive. From the feedback to your peers around the construction site thing, and then all the way to getting into Whitworth and getting a really, really impressive scholarship. So
Thank you.
Not a lot of questions. I think you have a good future ahead of you. Thank you for presenting.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations on acceptance to Whitworth. That's very exciting. And thank you for your time with our Express students.
Oh, yes.
And also helping out at Willard. We'll be sorry to see you go, but totally understand next steps. When you said that all 4 years you were going to focus on yourself to be kind, loyal, empathetic, and overall a good person, I don't know you, but I can tell that describes you very well. So just a few minutes that we've had with you. So
Thank you.
the other thing I was really impressed by was that you say you can do the things that I don't want to do, that I can do the things I don't want to do. You said that a few times throughout this, so good for you for knowing that about yourself and challenging yourself. So not everybody can do that, but I'm very impressed by you. So,
Thank you.
yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's open it up for the audience. If there's anyone who has a question or would like to say anything to Josie, you're welcome to do that. I'll share tissue. I see it.
Great job, Josie.
Thank you.
You're the best. I have no criticism. I love you too much. There isn't anything to criticize.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful job.
Thank you.
JoJo, as your dad, you made me very proud. You've come a long way, had the ups and downs, but you persevere, And that's what life's gonna do. It's gonna give you the ups and downs, right? And it's how you get out of the downs. So, your preparation, your hard work, your due diligence that you've done throughout your career in high school has been most impressive, even to me as an adult.
Hey, thanks.
And Josie, as your grandpa, grandma, I'm so proud of you.
Thank
You're an
you.
amazing woman.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Josie. We'll get you out of the hot seat.
Woohoo!